Yeah, man. That's a clip from a play I got to see on Broadway last night. Had to be out.
I know. I heard you were sitting in the fancy seats.
Oh, well, you know, they knew I was coming, so they pulled out the red carpet.
Okay.
And we were on the phone at the time, and my sister Onika, who's a thespian, has been acting since the late 80s.
Shout out to Onika.
Onika, she's done a lot of work, theater work, TV work as well. And I said, hey, let's go see this play called Ain't No Mo. It was written by a young man who's the youngest man in history of Broadway to write a playwright. He goes by the name of Jordan E. Cooper. He's by way of Texas. He plays the role of Peaches. If you go check this out, he's a phenomenal actor. It blew me away. I was sitting in my box seats, Mike Muse. I know you can appreciate box seats.
Yes.
And I had a bird's eye view of something that really triggered a lot of thought. And when I went home, Onika and I walked back to her house on 42nd, and we were just unpacking all the different things that we saw. But I was very impressed by the ensemble of a cast that was on Ain't No Mo, and the writing by this young man who's joining us this morning. It's produced by the one and only Lee Daniels, but welcome the one and only Jordan E. Cooper to the show.
Jordan!
Jordan, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Absolutely. You're from Texas.
Yes.
What city? What town?
Yes. DFW, Hurst, Texas, right outside of Fort Worth.
What was that at?
Yeah, exactly.
Outside Fort Worth.
But we rap it.
How does a kid from Hurst, Texas end up on Broadway?
God. Listen, I didn't know how to do anything else. I've been doing plays for the public since I was 10 years old.
Wow.
Just hustling. I used to mow lawns, to rent out theaters. I used to sell concessions. I used to usher. I used to do all these things, trying to hustle to put on my plays. And then thankfully that got me to New York. And then when I started doing my plays in New York, I would stand in Times Square and hand out flyers to my plays. And didn't nobody pay me no damn attention. But now we on Broadway.
You on Broadway. Hold up. You've done a few things. The Miss Pat show became really popular, right?
Yeah. I created the Miss Pat show.
Talk about that.
Yeah, so the Miss Pat show, basically I met Miss Pat, I read her book, and they were looking to do a project with her, and I think they were trying to put her on Fox at the time, and they were like, we don't have any concepts of a TV show. And so I read her book, and I watched her comedy, and I was like, no, she needs to be on premium. She needs to be herself. And so I wanted to make the first R-rated multicam family comedy.
Okay.
And we did that, and we put it on BET Plus.
Yeah. Okay. Come on.
So Jordan, take us back to your introduction into plays, because it's interesting how there's a lot of black youth that's never seen anything on Broadway, you know? And the majority of the time when you think about the entertainment industry, you think about the titans of film and television and music, obviously. But sometimes we forget about the play side.
Yeah.
What was your intro?
Yeah, because music and film is so accessible, right? But theater is a little bit harder. And how I got into it was really through bootlegs of old Tyler Perry plays, right?
Okay, there you go, Tyler Perry.
Late 90s, early 2000s, everybody was selling those plays in the barbershops and the beauty salons. And I just had those bootlegs. My family brought those bootlegs. And I was already doing plays in my living room. And I would have my family watch, and I would cut up my mama's weave and make wigs and cut up my dad's work uniform and get in trouble. But I just didn't know that it was a thing. And then I saw them watching this play, and I was like, wait, people actually do what I do in the living room? That's actually a thing? And from then on, it just became a mission of mine to just tell stories any way I could.
You just figured it out.
Yeah.
In Little Hurst, what's the name of the town?
Hurst, Texas.
Hurst, Texas.
Yeah.
Did they have theater?
Yeah. I mean, they had local theater. We had in Fort Worth. There was a black theater company called Jubilee Theater.
Okay.
And I would go and I would usher there, and I would clean up the bathrooms, and I would pick up the programs, and then I started stage managing, and I did the lights, and I did the sound, and I builded sets. So it's when it became on me to do my own stuff, I knew what to do because I was doing it for other stuff for so long. So it actually helps, especially in the showrunner world, whenever I'm doing Miss Pat and having to pick colors for sets and having to do this. No, I want that there or that there, and I can communicate with everybody because I grew up doing it for myself. Yeah.
This young man right here, Jordan E. Cooper, 27.
Wow.
He's 3 years older than my daughter.
Oh, wow. Very impressive.
I could be your daddy.
You could.
Your uncle. I'll be your uncle.
Yes.
You effortlessly, in Ain't No Mo, you combine black history with pop culture in such a unique and sharp and clever way. Where did that come from?
You know, it really. I love us. I love Black culture. And really, Ain't No Mo came from. You know, I have a very dark sense of humor. Like, I'm the dude always finding something to laugh about at a funeral. Like, why is she wearing a bra? Is she going 6 feet under? Why is her wig crooked? Who put that wig on her head?
Yeah.
She gonna haunt y'all. And I just had to find something to laugh about when all these Black people were getting killed unarmed by police and by strangers on the street. And then I had my own run-in with a police officer at a 7-Eleven. I was standing next to a police officer. I was reaching up to grab a $1.75 slushie, and I reached for the nozzle, and he grabbed his gun. He like put his hand on his gun, like I was about to do something. And I put my hands up, and then he just kind of like nodded and then went on about his business. But me, I went back to my dorm being like, damn, I could have died over a $1.75 slushie that didn't even taste that damn good. And literally, I had to think about my worth, my existence, and why I matter in this world, why we all matter. And then I started to think about, well, what if we just all said deuces? What if we just all said F America, like we gonna find something else? And so this idea of like all Black people going back to Africa came out of that. What if we all just said bye to injustice and started over? And what would that look like? And that's where Ain't No Mo came from.
That's where Ain't No Mo came from. Citizens, I went because my good friend Heather, you know her, Mike, I believe you know her too, Marvette Brittle. Is one of the producers.
Yeah, Marvette.
MB. And I've known her for decades.
Yeah.
And interesting enough, she and I we bank at the same place. And about a couple months ago, we walked in the bank at the same time. I was like, oh, you bank here too? I must be doing something then. Right. She was telling me about the play, and I said, I have to come see it. And I figure I will see it at some point.
Right.
But then the play opened.
Yeah.
And no sooner did it open, did Broadway say, we want to close it?
Yeah.
And this is the problem with Broadway. This is why movements like White Broadway, We See You got started. You know, it's Broadway, when it comes to these type of plays, has to learn how to support and be there for the long run. These kind of plays aren't common. Right? And it's reaching, it has the potential to reach different demographics, but Broadway has to adjust to it, not give up on it. Right? And so what we're seeing as a result of that, you'll see people like Tyler Perry, who buy out a house, which cost about, can I say the cost? It costs a lot of money to buy all the seats, right?
Yeah, him and Jada and
Will have done that.
Yeah.
And this is an effort to keep this going.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Broadway when it comes to these type of plays?
You know, a lot of the world changed after the pandemic happened, and I think Broadway still has a lot of work to do. I think, you know, it's already hard for theater period after the pandemic, but shows of color got a little bit harder, especially when you don't have like a Denzel starring in it or like a celebrity that's automatically gonna do the marketing for you, right? Or it's not based on a movie that everybody recognizes or a song or anything like that. So with Black plays specifically, we have to let our communities know that Broadway is for you too. That this is for you too. Like I made this work for you, because traditionally we don't feel invited. It's not we don't got the money. We got the money. We just why would we go there if it ain't nothing for us,
That's
right?
true.
And so literally I've been saying the problem with Ain't No Mo was the marketing is the same type of marketing that they do for like Hello Dolly with Bette Midler. And the problem is I didn't write Ain't No Mo for necessarily the same audience that would see Bette Midler and Hello Dolly. You know what I mean? They're welcome and I want them to come, but it's not necessarily the crux of the work, right? And so I've been saying, you know, the same way that the Black government is strategic in putting liquor stores and prisons in Black neighborhoods, we have to be strategic on Broadway and putting Black Broadway billboards in Black neighborhoods. Where is the billboard on Church Ave? Where's the billboard on 125th and Malcolm X? You know what I mean? Because the problem is people don't know about it. And with Ain't No Mo, they didn't get a chance to know about it. We were only open for 2 weeks, you know what I mean? And I think this fight that I'm doing right now is to fight that it's so much bigger than Ain't No Mo. It's like, no, our shows belong here too. Our audiences care too. And we just need the time to find them, and we have to do the work to find them. We can't just do the same old song and dance that we've been doing for the past 100 or so years on Broadway. It's like, if we really want to see change, you got to put your money where your mouth is and put your talk where your mouth is.
Okay, Jordan.
Jordan Cooper is here, youngest playwright on Broadway, 27 years of age. Mike Muse, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, Jordan, it's so great to meet you, man.
Great to meet you, too.
And it's so great to hear your constitution of how you all got started. I saw the play, which is phenomenal, but I saw the play after I knew that it was closing. And the entire time I was thinking about, while unpacking what I was seeing on stage, was your bravery. And in my mind, I was just like, how does this brother come out day after day to face an audience knowing that this play is going to close and still delivers this incredible performance? And I didn't know what your mood was going to be coming in today. And to see your head is just so unbowed. I'm just curious, like, how are you reconciling this? Like, just Jordan E. Cooper, not Peaches, but just not the playwright, but just how is Jordan E. Cooper dealing and facing that adversity?
You know, it's interesting because Jordan E. Cooper, you know, believes that there's a space for this kind of work because I love theater so much and I love America so much. And I think there's something revolutionary in loving something that wasn't necessarily meant for you and loving it so deeply that it has to make space for you. And I can't bow my head because no matter what happens, I have to speak up. I have to do the thing. I have to deliver the best because I'm proving that whoever comes up after me shouldn't have to do this work. Whoever comes up after me shouldn't have to write letters and make hashtags and do this and say, please come see the show. And they should be supported. And I think that I'm just so grateful that, yes, that I got here at all. Yes, no matter what happens, I'm just glad that I got to say what I needed to say. And hopefully somebody's listening. And hopefully, you know, we're fighting to turn this thing around. Hopefully people buy tickets and they come out and they support. But ultimately, I'm just glad that the thing got said.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that the thing got said.
Yeah, that's great. Jordan E. Cooper is here. We're talking about Ain't No Mo, still on Broadway, you know, and maybe we'll get an extension.
Yes.
Okay.
Speaking.
Yeah, let's get an extension.
Yes.
Okay, it's at the Belasco Theater. Ain't No Mo. Premise is, you know, if you had a chance to go back to Africa, you know, would you jump on the plane?
One-way ticket.
One-way ticket.
No looking back.
888-742-3345. Citizens, what would you do? We have the youngest American playwright in Broadway history.
Yes.
The one and only Jordan E. Cooper, Heather B.
I know. I love it. Jordan, it's funny, before you even had a chance to mention Mr. Tyler Perry's name, as you were telling your story to Tracy and Sway and Mike and us about giving out he was the first person that popped in my mind for some reason. I was like, my goodness, I remember when Tyler Perry plays would come here to New York, the Beacon Theater and different places like that. And we heard about him in the beauty parlors, in the barbershops, in the living rooms, to your point. And you being a writer, you have so much to think about. You know, you're writing out these plays and these stories. And now you I wouldn't say jump to Broadway, this journey to Broadway and experiencing what you're experiencing now. What would you do different? Like, it's learning about the marketing now, you know, and the ticket prices and promoting to us, that word of mouth. What would you, for your next play on Broadway, how would you approach it differently?
Listen, what I've been finding out in this past week is that I'm actually in my comfort zone. Because this is what I've always done for my work. I've always had to champion my work. I always had to stand in the street and give out stuff on the subways and galvanize the community to come together and support theater. I've always had to do that. And I think when I got to Broadway, I think it was going to be something different. I thought that there was a different kind of support, that there was a different kind of marketing support. You're paying all this money. There's all this, you know what I mean? You're thinking that like, oh, they're going to do the job for me. I just got to focus on the work being good.
Right.
I just got to focus on the work being good. And so I was so focused on the work being good that the only kind of thing that I gave was I wanted to make sure that there was affordable tickets. So I made sure that we had tickets that were $35. We had tickets that was $50. I did what I could there, thinking that everything was good, and then realizing that actually, no, the system is not necessarily built for this type of show. So once we got that closing notice, I'm like, wait, what? We just opened. We haven't even gotten a chance. I know shows that have gotten a year before even making any money, and they're still on Broadway. You know what I mean? So I was just kind of confused, and that's when it was like, all right, Jordan, like you gotta be Jordan. you got to go back to what you know, and what you know is how to be in these streets. And you gonna be in these streets, and you gonna sell this show, and you gonna tell people that this is the work that belongs here. And I think what I would do differently is I would be in the streets from the jump, no matter where I was, no matter if I'm in the valley or if I'm on the mountain. I got to be in these streets. No matter what Broadway is, no matter if I'm doing a show in a 200-seat theater, I got to be in these streets.
Well, you in the streets now with us. You all over the country
Sway
right
in the
now.
morning in the streets.
Okay, you in Iowa right now. Chuck is on the line from Iowa. What up, Chuck?
What up, family? How's everybody doing?
Excellent, brother. We sitting next to a legend right here, soon to be.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, Mr. Jordan, congratulations, man, on all your success so far, and I know you going to the stars. But my question to you is, why do we have to depend on Broadway so much? Why can't we not buy our own building, buy our own section of a city, and start a theater section? You know what I'm saying? Have them come to us.
Yep.
Mr. Muse, maybe you can chime in on that. I mean, there's enough money out there that I'm sure it might be difficult, but it can happen.
Yes.
You know, and why do we have to depend? I mean, it was called the Great Right Way for some reason.
That is a wonderful question. Thank you so much for that. Actually, that's my goal. My goal is to buy a theater on Broadway one day. I think all these heavy hitters who got all this money, I think if we bought our own theater and we were the ones who programmed what happens in that theater, there would be so much power in it. I think I believe in fighting for Broadway just because it's a part of our legacy too. When you think of something like, there's a play called Shuffle Along that happened in 1921. And it was considered one of the first musicals, especially a musical considering modern music of the time. And it was an all-black cast, an all-black creative team, and basically every white composer who created the hits of the next 50 years was in that audience and saw it at least 10 times. And then they took what was done on that stage and was able to create the magic that they created, right? So it is our legacy too. We've been trained to believe that it's not. We've been trained to believe that we have to leave and we have to go out and build our own thing, when in reality we got to claim what's ours. What James Baldwin said, your crown is already bought and paid for, you just have to put it on. And what we're doing right now is trying to say, hey, nah, this belongs to us too. This is our shit too, right? And we got to put it on. And so that's what we're fighting for now. Yes, and to having our own stuff outside, we need that. I think every theater, no matter where you're listening from, it's beyond Broadway. This is so much bigger than Broadway. When we talk about how to market our stuff, there's theaters in your town, wherever you at, there's a theater somewhere at least 30 minutes away from you that needs support, that needs help. And you don't know about it. Why? Because the marketing is the same thing that it's always been. They don't know you want to see it. Right? And so this fight that I'm doing right now is so much bigger than Broadway. It's so much bigger than Ain't No Mo. It's like, hey, no, we got to take what's ours, what belongs to us. And we don't know that it belongs to us, so ain't nobody trying to take it.
Hey, Chuck. Thanks for your question, Chuck. You're a citizen.
Wow. Of Sway in the morning.
That was good, Jordan. And if I could just add on, and just add a different dynamic of that, I think that far too often Black Americans don't always see ourselves in these spaces. For whatever reason, Black Americans have been thought and taught that Broadway isn't for us, Hollywood isn't for us. Who told you that lie? Right? That is a lie that was told. Broadway, for a young Jordan E. Cooper who was in his living room in some rural town of Texas.
UGK fan, loving Pimp C. You know what I mean? And Bun B.
At 8 years old, was making wigs and creating uniforms and performing in a living room in a play. That Jordan E. Cooper deserves a shot to be on this great right way, this destination for so many actors and thespians who believe in the power of live theater, because New York City is a global destination for the world. And so the beauty of Black plays and playwrights to have the opportunity to sit here in New York City, where the destination the world can land on, to see Black playwrights and to see our stories as American stories. We deserve that right to be told. We just need to, and I'm going to say something maybe, Jordan, that you don't want to say, but we have to put the onus on us.
Yes.
Like, yes,
Put
stop
it on Black
waiting
folks.
for it. And I get it. Yes, I understand the structure of broadcast. Broadway and the marketing and the segmentation. The same marketing segmentation is in Hollywood too, with how they market our black films too as well. But at some point, Black Americans, you got to say, you know what? I want to see live theater. It's okay to see live theater. I'm going to spend my $100 like I would spend on Jordans, Air Force Ones, and I'm going to support a young Jordan E. Cooper who has a dream to be on it so black stories can be told on the world stage. At some point, we have to take the onus on ourselves. When y'all come up to New York, stop just only going to a restaurant and to a sports bar. I'm not going to name no names. I'm not dissing that, right? But like, stop just going to see two things when you come up here in New York City, right? Like, New York City is for everyone, right? And stop in on Broadway,
there
right?
You go.
And there's black actors on plays that are not majority written for black audiences, and support that actor too as well, so that then they can get cast in a musical like Carousel, right? Or whatever, because that's their dream. Like, we just have to start putting our money like where our mouth is, and stop waiting for someone else to do it for us.
Yep. Thank you for that.
Yo, thank you, Mike Muse, for bringing that in.
Muse.
Yo, Mike Muse want to work with you, okay? So, and I just want to. Can we make it where anytime I come to one of your plays, I get box seats?
Come on, you want a box seat? I got you. I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
I gotta take advantage of this young man.
Yes, I got you.
He's 3 years older than my daughter. I know how to work him.
Listen, I'm afraid of box seats.
Yeah.
I think about Lincoln. I can't do it.
Oh, you can't do it because that's where he got assassinated.
I'm
tricky.
What the hell you put that on the box seats for, man?
So what the box seat got to do with that?
You don't want to give me the tickets.
I don't know why.
Yo, listen, this is incredible, citizens. If you're it's playing until when?
It's playing as of now. It's playing until December 18th. We fighting to extend it. We should know something today or tomorrow, and if we extend it, that's us winning the battle, but we got to get ready for war.
There you go.
You gotta come out, you gotta support, you gotta get those tickets and come have a good time. Come have church with us.
We'll be talking it up too as well. Proud of you, Jordan E. Cooper. You're amazing.
Yes,
you already made history.
Congratulations.
Yes,
you
you
already
are.
done what you setting out to do. It's happening right now. So congratulations to you.
Absolutely.
And your family, okay? Ain't no more. Go get these tickets. Belasco Theaters on West 44th Street here in New York City.